Hey up, me ducks. How are we doing? Just I thought I'd got everything changed over from doing the joint live with Chris, but I can see at the bottom it still says the Hermit's Cave. You know you're on the Hermit's Cave. That's because I was doing a joint live between two different channels. So you just have to excuse that, because I'd have to remove myself, I believe. Oh no, I can do it, I think, without having to take myself out of the chat. I've been on StreamYard for, 3 years now, and I'm still learning things about it. There we go. Anyway, how is everybody doing? It's a strange time of the year, isn't it? I didn't know how to dress tonight. Do you still wear Christmas garb? Or is that all done now? I took my decorations down yesterday, my tree. Say decorations, it's just a tree and some fairy lights over one of my altar spaces. Yeah, but took it all down, packed it all away, because I'm kind of like over it now. I don't like it lingering after. But anyway, we can have a chat about that. Let's just welcome everybody in. So we've got Caroline, first one in. Nice to see you. And we have the lovely Celia, who's always so lovely and positive and warm and welcoming. What a lovely introduction, opening kind of comment for us. Thank you, Celia. We've got Sandra, lovely Sandra, and we have Sarah and Golden. We have Helene, nice to see you, from France. Welcome. We have Elspeth. Yeah, she's like, it's Saturday. Thank goodness for YouTube notifications. I'd have missed it completely. I almost missed it because I've been thinking it's Friday all day. So now I've got 2 more days off before going back to work. So in my mind, those 2 days are the weekend days. And I had a lie-in this morning, which is first in a very, very long time, because I've got up at 5 most mornings. And I've been doing that last few days to walk with my friend and the dogs and everything else. And I didn't set the alarm and had a lovely lay-in. But I've been out of sorts all day, and I was watching a film this afternoon, and I suddenly thought, it's Saturday. Is it Saturday? Is it Saturday? And I hadn't put my watch on because I wasn't going anywhere today. So no watch. So I had to have a look at Alexa on, oh, she's heard me now. Oh, she's gone off. It's all right. I'd have a look at Alexa just to see what the date was to check that it was Saturday. So yeah. Hello, lovely Patrice. How are you? How's Vanetta? Hope you're both doing well and had a lovely Christmas. Red Wings here, and the lovely Kim. Hello, Kim. Ellie's here. Hi, Ellie. Nice to see you. And we have Petra. Nice to catch you before the end of the year. Let's chat about no spends, low spends, please. All the thoughts and feelings that get us to that place. We can talk about that. So I haven't really got an agenda tonight, again, because I've been out of sorts and I haven't really had planned. There was something mulling over in my head to do as a subject in the week, but it takes a bit of prepping. So I just thought, do you know what, tonight, because we're in that kind of middle grey area between Christmas and New Year, we can just talk about anything anybody wants to talk about. So that's one topic that's been brought up. So we can look at that. But let me know any more. Who else we've got? We've got Spirit Wing and Jeanette. We have Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Nice to see you. And Ronald from Orlando, Florida. Very nice. We have Nutmeg and Larch. Hello, Larch. Fran, Taro, and the Scorpios. Quite a few new names that I've not seen before tonight. So it's lovely to see you. Is it Gigi? Janet from North Carolina. I'll just call you Janet then. And we have Magical Mooncat. The lovely Kathy's here. and Joy, Sabrina, and yeah. What film were you watching? What film did I watch this afternoon? Tim, it's called Tim, and it's about a couple who move. She's really successful. He's out of work. They move into this state-of-the-art modern house that's, we're seeing more and more now, all kind of run by apps and things like that. But it comes with its own robot servant called Tim. And it's about the point where we're at, where AI starts to become sentient. So it's smelling flowers, and they're looking and say, "Why is it smelling flowers? Is that just, just a program, or is it actually smelling flowers?" and things like that. But it gets quite sinister. But it's quite a good film. It feels like liminal space. Yeah, it does feel like liminal space. I haven't a clue what day of the week it is. I've been under the weather. Oh, sitting with a lurgy. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. I feel much better today, so that's good. Yeah, there's nothing worse, is there? Especially over kind of the festive periods. I've been like it so many times because I think, many of us can relate to when you go in full pelt, particularly if you've got a career, a job, and you work hard and you work flat out, and then suddenly you get a break and you just, I can relax now. But then it's almost like, your immune system has had it for that period of time, and you come down with something. I've done that many, many times, and over Christmas periods. I have a glass of port. What I'm trying to do is, before the end of the year, which is only tomorrow is the last day of the year, all the treats and things that I got sent at Christmas, which was very kind. Everybody sends chocolates and things like that. And I've had a few kind of liqueurs and things. And some friends of mine who live in this building at the other end, we get together every Christmas, and they always bring me a bottle of port for like 20 years or more. They've done that. And so I thought, right, I'll have a glass tonight with you, and then I'll probably have one on New Year's Eve. But I want to start New Year's Day with like clean slate. We can but try. Sandra has a salted caramel Baileys. Who knew there was such a thing? Salted caramel Baileys. Wow, that sounds lovely. My sister, because I went to stay with my sister, I stayed with two sisters, but Christmas Eve and Christmas Day with one sister. And one of her Christmas presents was a strawberry Malibu. Now, I don't know if you have Malibu in other countries, but over here, it's an alcoholic coconut drink. So I thought it'd be Malibu with a hint of strawberry, but no, it's just an alcoholic strawberry drink, no coconut at all. And it was okay. I wouldn't buy it myself. But, I had a couple of sips. That's all I had. And my sister's drink before she had it. But yeah, it's they do that now. They tend to take a brand and then add different variations, different flavors, particularly for Christmas time. I've discovered Kraken. Almost sounded like I was going to say I've discovered crack. Went out with some work friends, and I got there quite early because my train got in quite early, and then another colleague came, and while we waited for the others, she said, "Have you tried Kraken?" And it's a spiced rum. Now I said, I don't drink rum. I've not drank rum since I was a teenager. But she said, "Well, it's really nice because there's a coffee flavored one." And I love anything coffee flavored. So I said, okay, well, I'll try one. And it was really lovely. They do a black cherry as well. So they do the original Kraken, which is spiced rum, but then they do a coffee flavored and a cherry flavored, which I've not tried. I've not tried the cherry flavored one, but it was lovely. So I really enjoyed that. Got Baileys in my cup of coffee. Kathy, I love doing that, especially in the morning. It sounds like a right lush, doesn't it? Get up in the morning and have a Baileys. But having at Christmas, I mean, special occasions. But when you wake up like Christmas morning, we opened our gifts at my sister's, and then my brother-in-law made an Irish coffee, as we call it, which is a coffee with Baileys in it. Beautiful. Anyway, good health. And here's to everything you want 2024 to be. Mint Baileys is fabulous. I've heard about that, and I think it's just in other countries. I think there was one years ago, like 10 years or so ago. But unless it's back this year, I've not seen it. But mint Baileys, I'd love to try. I do like Baileys. Spiced rum, says Kim. Do you like it, Kim? But yeah, I think because my sister's the same with Pernod. She was badly years ago after drinking Pernod, and she can't touch it, can't bear the smell of it. And I was very similar with rum, although it was a white rum. And it made me really ill when I was a teenager, late teenager years. So I've never touched rum. I was like, no, can't. Ugh, the thought of rum. But this Kraken is beautiful. Release the Kraken. The stuff's amazing in Coca-Cola. Yeah, we did at my other sister's that I went to for Boxing Day. We did have a neat Kraken, which I can only sip, in very small doses. But the drinks I had out, the coffee ones, was with Coca-Cola. Hello, Kay. Nice to see you. Can you imagine salted caramel Baileys over ice cream? I can imagine it. I can. Yes. Let's try that again. Simon, how late am I? Not late. I've not been on long, 10 minutes or so. Just kind of doing the introductions really and saying hello to people. And yeah, I hope everybody's had a lovely holiday, however you celebrate it, whether you celebrate Yule or Christmas, or it's just a time off work or some time spent with family and friends. I hope it was lovely for everybody. And what's people's plans for New Year? Anybody doing anything exciting? Anybody going to watch the ball drop in New York? I know that's quite a famous event, isn't it? Alcoholic floats, yes, please. Oh, yeah. We used to have a restaurant over here. Probably our first fast food restaurant, called Wimpy's, although it was waiter service, so it's not really fast food, but it's a burger kind of restaurant. There's only a couple left now, and I think most of them are in and around London. We used to have two in Nottingham, both gone because of things like McDonald's and Burger King and stuff like that taking over. But they used to have cola floats, or you could have lemonade floats. That was the first time I ever tried it. Never even heard of it before. Oh, taste sensation. I love floats, but yeah, with a Baileys, wow, that'd be a bit of a game changer, wouldn't it? Golden, you was a waitress at Wimpy. Was you really? Not at Nottingham by any chance. Even my hometown had one, which is a very little town. They had one up until about 10 years ago, and it went. But it was a shame because they didn't just do burgers. The first time I ever had I think we just call them Cumberland sausages now, but sausage in a ring that goes around, was at Wimpy's. They just seem to be like the trailblazers of quite a lot of food we just take for granted now. I'm staying safely at home for New Year's Eve. I can't do crowded rooms anymore, says Hypnicity. Hypnicity. Is that how you say your name? Welcome. I have to find a bottle of salted caramel Baileys. Is it just available in the supermarket, Sandra? Red Wing says, quiet time for me. Edinburgh's Hogmanay is too crazy and busy for me. Yeah, I'd imagine it's amazing though. I mean, you guys up in Scotland really know how to celebrate the new year. On my last day of work, my boss gave us all a gift bag with a Christmas cracker, a scratch card, and a bag of Walker's Christmas pudding crisps. Who knew there was such a thing? Crisps are still in the cupboard. I don't fancy them. I saw pigs in blanket gravy granules today, and I was like, just because you can make something doesn't mean you should. Oh, is Malama here? Oh, hello, Malama. Vertigo has not improved much at all. Oh, that's sad to hear. I was hoping you might have been a bit better for Christmas, but can we talk about our tarot card for 2024? Of course you can. So while we're doing that, I'll address the first question then. So the first question was from Petra, and she wants to talk about, and it comes up at this time every year, doesn't it? You know, whenever we get to the end of a year, people start to mention deep dives, no buy or low buy. And I think it's, you know, I've got no issues with it, because people will do no buys or low buys for a whole manner of reasons. And it's not for anybody to say really that, you know, people should or shouldn't. So I will just talk about why I don't do no buys. I guess when I look back over this year, it could be considered a low buy, because actually the amount of decks that I've personally bought this year is probably the lowest in any year previously, since I kind of discovered YouTube. But I consciously don't subscribe to any sort of ban on things. I will make an effort to address things in my life where perhaps I need to rein things in a little bit. So for a classic one is obviously health and well-being related and diet, you know. I always say it doesn't matter what you do between Christmas and New Year, because you have to enjoy things. You go away. I go to family and friends, you know. It's not what you do between Christmas and New Year. It's what you do between New Year and Christmas for me. You know, I can moderate things through the year, but still enjoy things like holidays, birthdays, and Christmas time. So there's a reason why I do that, and that's for health and well-being reasons. And I'd imagine as well that people who do no buy, low buy is either, it could be a financial reason, you know, perhaps they need to save money. We know we're all living in things like cost of living crisis, and things are going up and times are really difficult. So I get why people would want to do it. Where I kind of not draw the line, that just sounds too severe, but I've seen people in the past who have said, I'm not buying any decks this year, and then a deck is released that they really want, and then I've seen them in either on other people's channels, in comments on my own, or in the Hermit's Cave Facebook group, where we talk about all manner of stuff, where people beat themselves up and say that I failed. I said I was going to do a no buy, and I've ended up buying this deck, and I really wanted it, and now I feel terrible. And I just think life is too short to do that to ourselves. I just realized as well, I've not put any comments on the main. So if there is anybody in from the Hermit's Cave Facebook group and you've said hello, sorry to have missed you, but I've got it open now, so I'll be able to see everybody, no matter where you're watching from. And I will scroll back and have a look at the comments as well when I finish talking. I go on a bit of a flow sometimes. No, that's not the right thing to say. I'm on a flow, but sometimes I do go on a bit and I go down rabbit holes and all sorts. So I do have to rein it back in. So yeah, I think if you can afford something, if it brings you joy, if it's not hurting anybody else, and don't beat yourself up. If you want to buy something, then buy it. And I've shared this story many times, but I'll share it again because there's a few, as I said earlier when I was doing the welcomes, there's a few people in here I've not seen before. So I'm always reminded of a colleague I worked with, probably it'll be about 8 years ago now. I think it was 8 or 9 years ago. She was 26 years of age when she passed away. And she was trying to go a whole year without eating chocolate because somebody had said to her, "You're a chocoholic, you are, you're always eating chocolate." And she's like, "I'm not a chocoholic." And they're like, you are. So she was determined to prove them wrong. And she said, for a New Year's Eve resolution, I'm not going to eat chocolate this year at all. And it was something she really loved. And, she passed away at the age of 26, around the October of that year, from a blood clot in her leg. Totally out the blue. And it was devastating for obviously her family. She'd only been married less than a year. And yeah, I just remember thinking, and somebody said to me when I mentioned it before, but how great that she was able to do that. Absolutely. But then I think life is very short for all of us, let alone somebody who's in their 20s. And her last kind of 10 months of life was denying herself something that she really enjoyed. And none of us know how long we've got. And I just think, if, again, there's all sorts of reasons why people do no buy, low buy. I get it totally. But I'm not in a position, luckily, because there's only me. I don't have any vices. I don't smoke. Don't take drugs. I don't socialize that much, really. I have a drink at Christmas or special occasions. I have no children. So I do have some, not a great deal, but some disposable income. And rather than spend it on those things, I spend it on something that gives me joy, which is decks or anything to do with my spiritual practice, really. So yeah, if you want to do a low buy or a no buy, just think about why you're doing it. Because as well, about 4 or 5 years ago, it became a real big trend for this no buy year, no buy. But there were people that really were hard on themselves when they didn't stick to it. And who knows what decks are coming out this year? Who knows what's going to be created? And well, for example, a deck by Arnatorian, which I've been waiting for a couple of years now, which is Tarot of Echoes. When I get paid in January, I'm going to be buying it. I've made a conscious decision that I'm going to be buying it because I love her work. Oracle of Echoes is one of my favorite Oracle decks, and I've longed for a tarot version. So already, my January is going to have a purchase, a tarot deck purchase. She's got pre-sales open till the end of January, thankfully, because they went on sale a week before Christmas, and there's just no way I could do it. So anyway, let's hear your thoughts. So let's have a look at some comments. Oh, you've all been busy with your comments. Sandra said, yes, Simon, in Tesco, I got mine, only a small bottle there. Our Tesco's doesn't have it, but ours is only a small Tesco's anyway. Hen's here. Hello, Hen. How are you? We like to do a snow activity for the new year, but that only works if we have snow. Yeah, we don't really get snow much these days. Sandra's going to make an effort to do a low buy. I just think about what it costs to buy a round of drinks in a pub. Yeah, exactly. So, as I said, we went out the Wednesday before Christmas on the Monday, and we had a meal, and then there was probably about 7 of us. I think it was 7. And a round of drinks was £35. So, and that's gone in 20 minutes, half an hour if we stretch it. But yeah, whereas a tarot deck at £35 will last you the rest of your life if you're careful with it. So, hello Saskia, nice to see you. Sarah's going for a low buy. Collection feels close to complete, and that's good. If you've got something in mind which has a like, if you've covered all the genres that you want to cover, you know, if people say my tarot collection is complete, that's usually because they've got you know, decks for certain aspects of your practice, or different genres or traditions like Marseille, Toth, RWS, etc. Gordon says, love hearing you talk. Thank you. It's something I can do, isn't it? Talk. Sandra's doing a small declutter as a few decks I received for Christmas, and I brought some too with Christmas money. That's nice. And Mooncat, Magical Mooncat, I'm going to do a low buy for the reason that you've just said, just in case a special deck comes along, but low buy for financial reasons and just don't want to get overwhelmed with decks. Yeah, and that's an important point as well, that you've made there, Magical Mooncat, because you can't. I don't get overwhelmed, but clearly, you know, and people have said to me before, well, if you've got 800 decks, how can you ever work with them all? Well, I can't, you know, I can't work with them all. I can't work them all at once. But as I've said, I see it as a library of decks, and it's fun sometimes to pull a deck out and work with it for a few days and then put it back and rotate it. What was it I was watching the other day, and I thought, got to dig that out. Somebody was showing a deck. It was a relatively oldish deck, and I thought, I've got that, and I need to pull it out. I should have done it there and then. Anna Kay. It was Anna Kay. I love Anna Kay, and I think, if I remember right, it's in my top 10 decks of all time. I've even got a Kelly pouch for it. But somebody was doing a reading with it, and I thought, oh, I love the Anna Kay. And then I thought, yeah, I've not used it for a good year, maybe now. But that's the way it's going to be, because as decks come in, so a deck that, you know, sitting here waiting to be used, the Wanderer's Tarot, and pulled cards this morning from Playful Heart. As decks come in, you start to use them because they're new and exciting. And so the older decks sit on the shelf for longer. I have migrated a couple of 100 decks into a spare room, and a part of me thought, you know, they're kind of the unloved decks now because they're not in this space. And they're not, because every so often I'll wander into there and I'll look as well. And I've used the analogy many times before, so I don't want to belabor the point. But, you know, if you've got bookcases full of books, nobody says to you, how can you read all these books all at once? Well, you can't, but it's a library of books that I can pull off and read when I want to read. So, but yes, good point about overwhelm, because you can get overwhelmed, and I've heard people talk about being overwhelmed, but I think that's how we frame it in our mind as well. I've got all these decks, I can't possibly use them. You don't need to. they're there, enjoy them, enjoy having them there. If you fall out of love with a deck, that's something quite different, because then you can pass it on to somebody else who might enjoy it, or trade it for a deck. I'm going to 26. That's tragic. Yeah, Nancy, it was very tragic. I've told myself no Kickstarters in 2024. Yeah, I haven't backed a Kickstarter this year. So that's something I didn't do this year. And that was, but I did do a Kajagoogoo. No, not Kajagoogoo. What's that? Kajagoogoo. What's that other platform called? Sounds like Kajagoogoo. I did that for Ross Salerno's deck, New Voice Tarot de Marseille. Kajagoogoo, I tell you. You can tell I'm an 80s kid, can't you? I'm trying to go on a no-buy, as I just don't use all the decks I have or used, read all the books I have. I want to try and use all of my decks at least twice next year. Although if something fab comes up, yeah, and have a caveat. You know, if you want to do a no-buy, just have that caveat where, well, I'm going to do a no-buy, but I haven't failed if I don't, you know, because that, I don't think we should do that to ourselves. Yeah, I just don't think we should put ourselves under that pressure. That's why I give presents all year round and don't save them up for birthdays and special days. Do not put off giving love or presents. Good point, Ellie. I don't do resolutions or commit to no buys, as I just fail and then feel bad. I don't want to set myself up for failure. Yeah, and it's interesting, actually, talking about setting ourselves up for failure. Every year, I set all my journals up. And I've never, in 53 years, done a journal diary, where I've written every single day of the year for a whole year. I always get to like mid-Feb of doing daily, and then it goes to like twice a week, or just an important event. So I've got diaries and journals that are sporadic. So then I used to just have plain journals, as in just a plain notebook, where it doesn't matter then if you've got gaps, because you just carry on writing. And they work better, but I've never ever done a every day. And then at the beginning of the year, I bought this, the 2023. It's a Moleskine, which I love, but it's kind of like a special edition of it with these nice sides, beautiful paper. As you know, I'm into my fountain pens, so I wanted something that I could write on really nice, nice paper. And I started writing in it. Tomorrow is the last day of the year, and I've done it. I've got one day left, and I've written every day of the year. And I think the reason why is, I bought myself a really nice journal, but I didn't put myself under pressure. I thought I'd love to fill this in every day, but if I do, I do, and if I don't, I don't. But I kind of left it open on my desk with a fountain pen next to it, so that when I got home and come home from work and I walk in the door here, I can see my journal set out in front of me. So I'll pop the kettle on, I'll sit down with my pen, and I'll just start writing about my day. That's not where I do my tarot spreads. I have a separate one for that. Facebook user, evening pride, happy new year from everyone. Favorite hidden gem, we all know who you are. I have new work commitments, but should still be free to say hello, Tony, nice to see you. And one day you'll find your way onto YouTube and see everybody else in the chat as well. Because look what you're missing, Tony. Look at all these people chatting. Yay, Tony's here. We don't do this to people who collect books, stamps, DVDs, records, and so on. If it's something we love, why do we beat ourselves up and deny ourselves joy? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We're meant to live in joy, says Hypnicity. I'm going back through decks I've sort of ignored versus adding more to my collection, says Inked Witchy. Hello, Linda. Nice to see you. Long time since you caught alive. Cheers. Having a glass of port. I'll look at what they're missing. We can't. Look, you come out as a silhouette. They can't see what they're missing. Anna Torian is one of my favorite artists, and also have both her new tarot deck on my wish list for this month. Yeah, well, when I, like I said, when I first heard it, pre-sales had gone out, my friend Ben in New Zealand sent a message saying, look what's out for pre-sale. And I just thought, oh, gosh, you know, it's the week before Christmas. I can't do it. I just can't do it. And we got paid 10 days early, so it has to last like 6 weeks rather than 4 weeks. So I just thought, but then he said, but pre-sales are open until the end of January. So I thought, oh, thank you, Anna. And yeah, I will definitely get it. Forever After says, there are so many beautiful decks. So I buy when a deck really connects with me and I have the money, rent, food, and gasoline comes first. Good priorities. Petra says, I think I'm going to do a mindful buy year. My purchases aren't impulsive, but I do tend to dive in a bit too deep for my feeling of comfort when I get into a certain hyper focus. I'll read that again. I'm going to do a mindful buy year. My purchases aren't impulsive, but I do tend to dive in a bit too deep for my feeling of comfort when I get into a certain hyper focus. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I always think back to my first year on YouTube, or actually from the year before, since finding YouTube. So back to 2016, in the space of a year, I bought over 150 decks because I came into the community and everybody was showing all manner of decks. And every time I saw one, I thought, oh my God, that is amazing. And you always see yourself using it, don't you? You see yourself doing readings with it, and you see the scene with candles lit and incense burning and think, oh, that looked lovely. You know, I could see myself reading that. And then I'm very open to suggestion. So when people are like, oh, this is just so beautiful, I love this, look at this, look at this, I do get carried away. And I know I do it myself as a reviewer. And it's not intentional either. When I do a review, my intention isn't to get other people to buy a deck. You know, it's not anything I'm selling. The reason I do a review is I talk about what I like about it. But then people will comment and say, oh, I can't believe I've watched this because, you know, you've enabled me to buy it. And a part of me feels a little bit guilty. But I also understand it because I'm the same when I watch other reviewers. But I think after a period of time, two things happen. The first thing is you tend to get to know the people you like to watch, and you find out whether they have similar taste to you or not. And therefore, when you see certain people and you know what they like and it's aligned to what you like, you do tend to trust their judgment. And the second thing that happens is that the further in you go, the more refined, I feel, your tastes become. Or, as I think it was Sarah who said earlier, you're completing your collection. So when you see a deck, you think, yeah, I like that, but actually I've got this deck that will do that job. Does that make sense? But I think we refine our tastes as we go on as well. So some of the decks I look back on now that I bought in 2016, 2017, and I think, would I have bought that now? And the answer is probably no. Because there's a lot of decks that have come out now that I would have probably bought in the past. Now I'm not buying, if that makes sense. So I think a couple of things happens with longevity as well. But I don't know about anybody else, but I felt like I was playing catch up when I first came into the community. And everybody had like what were the big decks at the time? The Wild Unknown. Everybody had the Wild Unknown. It's amazing. This incredible groundbreaking tarot deck. I was like, I've got to have the Wild Unknown. However, I'd already got not Connected and Free. That's the Oracle. The oh my goodness, what's it called? In something. Oh. No. What's the name of the tarot deck that is by Inner Hue? And the Oracle version is Connected and Free. I just want to keep saying Connected and Free. I think it's got an A, an A, or if somebody could tell me. But anyway, that deck, Lumina, thank you, Moran. Hello, Moran, by the way. Lumina Tarot. It's very similar to Wild Unknown. The only difference is it's got humans in it. So now, and I never got the indie version because it wasn't available by the time I discovered the community. They just launched the mass market version. So now I probably want to bought the Wild Unknown because now I'm more selective. And I think, well, actually, Lumina does that job. Where am I up to? Golden says I bookmark all the decks I want, so it feels like I have them all. Oh. I do get overwhelmed with stuff easily, so I have to take care that doesn't happen. Yeah, I understand that. It's also challenging to store the decks. It is. And, I'll rearrange this every so often and declutter, but it doesn't take long to get cluttered again. I think particularly because I put extra things on, like I've got, does this really need to be there, taking up room? Or, I couldn't not have old Demdike here, but, I've kind of put things on the shelves as well as decks. So, anyway, where am I up to? I still have too many oracles. I need to let some go. Does not help. I'm running out of room. Yeah, so we talked about storage now, aren't we, really? I have a tendency of feeling FOMO. So I do need to be a little bit more careful. Yeah. FOMO. I think the first time I really experienced FOMO was Dark Mansion. I'd seen Dark Mansion and I thought to myself, no, actually, I don't want that. This was at the end of 2018. I thought, no, I don't need it. And it was at that time, I've been around for about 2 years then in the community, and I thought, yeah, now I'm starting to plateau a bit. I'm starting to be a bit more mindful about my purchases, and I thought, no, I don't want it. And so I saw it, and then obviously people started to get the decks a few months later, and everybody was going on about Dark Mansion, and I was watching all these walkthroughs. And I ended up buying not just Dark Mansion, but the luxury edition in the wooden box, in the large cards that are in rose petal. I've still got it, as well as a normal version. So I'm like, yeah, that was a real FOMO. It happens. It's real. I do the same. I put it on my wish list in the cart and sleep on it, sometimes for a longer period of time, and then see if I really do want it, or if it's something I let go. Wish lists are great for that. Wish lists are really good for that. I've had decks on my wish list for a long time, and then I look at it and I think, well, do I really want it? Because if I hadn't wanted it, it wouldn't still be on my wish list. Yeah, and I need to look at it again. I mean, I know from my wish list, and I have an independent wish list, which is just in notes on my phone. But something like what's that oracle called by is it Martin Cameron Diaz, who did the Earth Magic? He did an oracle which is based on the Lotteria. I know that's on there. And that's been on there a long time now. But again, another factor is buying from the States because of the cost now. Do you do oracle decks as well, or just tarot? I've got about 100 oracle decks. I mean, I showed the other day as well. My latest oracle deck is what Sandra brought me from Christmas, for Christmas, the Oracle D Reflects, which I love, and I've wanted that for a long, long time. So that's a very treasured oracle deck. I tend to use them more for clarifiers. So when I'm doing a reading, I'll pull an oracle deck at the end. But yeah, I do like oracle decks. It's just that I prefer the structure of tarot. But yeah, like I was saying, that Martin Diaz deck is an oracle deck. A lot of time I practice the rule 1 in 1 because of stuff for me, if not used, clutters my mind. Yeah. Kajagoogoo. Am I that far behind? Am I that far behind in chat that I've only just come to Kajagoogoo? Indiegogo. Well, you can see why I got mixed up, can't you, between Kajagoogoo and Indiegogo. Gosh, they don't put timestamps on these anymore, so I don't know how far back I am, but I've only just got up to Kajagoogoo. Now everybody's putting Indiegogo. Yeah, Indiegogo. I can't believe I said Kajagoogoo. Okay, help please. How do I tag someone? I can't figure it out. If you just use the @ symbol, if you're using a laptop, it's easier because as soon as you put @ and start typing the name, it will suggest it for you. But if you're using your phone or an iPad like I do, you just have to put @ and type it exactly as it appears. So if there's underscores and capital letters and things like that, you have to include them, and then it will tag that person. But it has to be exactly what their name is. Oh, but then Kathy said if you're using your mobile phone, it doesn't work. Is that because they've changed the @ as well? Because sometimes I get comments on videos and I don't recognize who they are, and it'll be different to the channel name. But if so, they need to change that back because that's really confusing. I use planners, less pressure to write than looking at blank pages. Yeah, well, I've set up, because I've been playing around stationery stuff yesterday. So I've set up my bullet journal now for 2024. So rather than have a diary like that, I'm going to have my bullet journal. So I bought all these blank pages to do bullet journal. So I've set it up. I've got a plaster on my finger. So I've got my index. I've got my future. Try to do this the other way around. My future logs. And then I've started with January, setting that up ready. So yeah, I will just. And the great thing with bullet journaling, you just carry on going. So if you use a whole page, use a whole page. If you use half a page, fine. You just carry on, don't you? So that's how I'm going to be doing it this next year. And I've got it's up on the shelf, the Witcher's Diary, Barbara Mickle-John-Free and Flavor Kate Peters version to do my daily draws. And I'm using the stickers that Cheryl sent to assist with that as well. That is amazing. What an incredible record. Oh, is that being able to complete a journal, a diary? Sandra's getting a planner this year. I don't think I needed one really, but I think it would be useful. Forever always has a notebook nearby. Oh, this is where Tony comes in. Yay, Tony's here. He should call himself Tony the Gem. I wonder if he's still here. Tony the Gem. Angie says, Happy New Year, everyone. I looked earlier, had no notification from YouTube of tonight's stream. Sorry, I'm late. I was quite late at doing it because, as I said, I forgot. I just keep forgetting where we are with days. So I didn't do it till about 6:30, I don't think. Oh, and here's Moran. Hello, Simon. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you, Moran. How are you doing? I watched your review the other day of, what was it that Cheryl sent you? It was enjoyable to watch. I've forgotten what deck it was now. I used to get down on myself for stuff, but I'm done with that. I just try to be responsible, at least enjoy what I buy. That's exactly it, isn't it? You know, don't beat yourself up over things. Buy what you can afford to buy and enjoy it. Just, you know, we're a long time not here, so just enjoy what we have. I'm working on a tarot RPG. Ever seen anything like that other than the D&D deck? RPG. Is that role play game? RPG. I'm guessing that because you put D&D, which is Dungeons and Dragons, isn't it? That would be cool. If anybody's looking at it, The Witch Sister is really cool. Yeah. Cheryl put an update in the Hermit's Cave Facebook group that orders for the UK are delayed. I think they was due Monday, New Year's Day, 1st of January. But all the UK copies are stuck in. Can you imagine? I mean, how hectic mail and sorting offices and shipment places are at this time of year anyway. But all those people that didn't get what they was expecting for Christmas because there's a backlog. So yeah, so I don't think it'll be delayed by long. As soon as it's freed up from, it's throwing it down here like torrential rain, then they should come in. But it looks incredible. But it's Julia Jeffries. It's going to be incredible, isn't it? And I've purposely not watched any walkthroughs yet. Aspirational purchases. Vanessa says, I'm always late to the party. I have to catch up. Doesn't matter, Vanessa. You're here. That's the main thing. Yes, I get carried away. Like today when I watched your Pastoral Tarot video. Have you bought it, Sandra? It's a beautiful deck, though. It's on the sofa at the minute in its cloth bag because I've been shuffling it this afternoon and pulling some cards and reading from the book. I know I bought my share of insert YouTubers' names here. Made me do it, Dex. Forever After has the Pastoral Tarot. It's a perfect fit for the state of New York where I live. Wow. It's just so beautiful. When I did the live with Chris on Thursday, I stopped at the majors. I think he said, can I see some swords? Let's have some swords action. And I showed a couple of them, but I deliberately, you know, when you're going through initially going through a deck and you think, this deck's really special. This deck is more than I expected it to be. I held back on showing some because I thought, I'm going to do a full walkthrough of this. So I did the walkthrough yesterday. And I went and checked, and I don't like doing that because it was a gift, but it was on my wish list, so I kind of knew the price range anyway. But it is a little bit more expensive, although it's come down a lot. excuse me, a little bit more expensive for a mass-produced deck. But then when you see the quality of the cards, the larger cards, the quality of the cards is beautiful. It's US Games. The presentation of that box with the drawer that slides out, the cloth bag, which is printed on both sides. I think it's, you know, it's a real stunning piece. So also nothing wrong with nabbing something just because it's pretty. Nabbing something just because, yeah, exactly. You go into anybody's home, you know, and it's decorated with pretty things, whether that's an ornament or a vase of flowers, or, you know, the way the wallpapered or something. You know, we make our homes nice, don't we? We surround ourselves with things that, you know, bring us joy. So again, nothing wrong with it. I purposely not watched that video yet because I know it'll be added to the cart before the video has ended. You never know. You know, I've had a lot of comments from people who've said, "I'm really glad you've showed this because I know I don't now want it," and I've been there, and that's why I think YouTube provides a great service, because that's how I discovered the communities. Because I went into a shop, I saw a deck. I didn't know whether I wanted it or not. There wasn't enough images on the back. So I came home and I kept thinking about it. And then I decided to, let's have a look online. Not even YouTube, just Google, see if I can find some images. But then, of course, it suggests videos. That took me in. I thought, there's somebody showing every single card. Now I can really make a decision as to whether I want that deck or not. And I did. I went back and got it. But I thought, what a valuable service that somebody has taken the time to film a video and show. It was just called an unboxing video. Ariel, her name was, Maven Unmasked. And it was an unboxing. So, and I was just blown away by that concept. That's the beginning of a very long story. Lumina. Yeah, I've got to the bit where I couldn't remember the name of that deck. Vanessa says, you were the first review I decided I wanted to keep watching reviews for because of taste, and you explained why you did not like a certain card. Yeah, I do try. Well, no, I don't even try. I do it. But it's something that I pride myself in the fact that I need to be honest. And what you guys never see or perhaps hear about are the decks that I say no to. I don't make videos saying I'm not going to buy this deck, because at the end of the day, it's somebody's work. But I get a fair amount of comments from creators who will say, I've created a deck, I'd love to be able to send it to you for a review. And they always share their images with me. And if they don't, I will ask, you know, could I have a look first? Because I don't believe in casting pearls before swine. And I'm always mindful it's somebody's work. So the reason why most of the videos that I review I like is because I've chosen them. Even Schiffer will send you a catalogue and say, please choose decks that you like. They don't want, as a company, to send you decks for you to trash them. Of course they don't. That's not what good marketing is. But invariably, there will be some aspects of it that I think could have been done better. So respectfully, I will say things like, I kind of wish they hadn't put their logo on the back of every card. I just find that a little bit, you know, disturbing. Not, it's a bit disturbing, but distracting, I should say. Disturbs me in my flow. Or, you know, oh, this would have looked better borderless, or maybe the cardstock could have been a bit better. So, because I know I would find that useful if I was watching a walkthrough video. And what I wouldn't want is for somebody just to say, oh, this is just, you know, everything about this. Because there has to be some genuine, you know, I'll stop there. I think you know what I'm trying to say. It's more important to be honest and then have that integrity, because if you are a content creator, people would soon see through it if that integrity wasn't there. If I did a video and it was shocking cardstock and I said, oh, the cardstock is fine, it's lovely, you know, and then somebody gets it, they're going to be like, what was he on about? I bought this on his kind of, because of his review. So there is that responsibility as well, I think, to be honest. Back when I was trying to pick out my first deck. Oh, what was your first deck, Vanessa? There's always something new, the nature of creativity. If it speaks to me, I will consider it. Yeah, good point. Is Arnatorium bringing out an English version of the Arthurian Tarot? Not heard of any plans for that yet. I mean, it'd be great, but she's not in control because she's the artist and it's been released by a publisher in France. So I don't think she's got that control over that. I'm terribly guilty of having brought decks I was not ready for later on when I am ready. Hold on. So Vanessa says, I'm terribly guilty of having brought decks I am not ready for later on when I am ready. I get it. I've disappeared. Where have I gone? They're back. Sometimes it does that. It takes me off the screen. Chris is here. Hey, everyone. Nice to see you, Chris. You've probably been here a while because I think I'm way behind on the... here's me thinking I should have come up with a topic for tonight. Okay, so everybody's saying hello to Chris. Hi, Simon. Happy New Year. Hello, Candy. Nice to see you as well. My save for later under my Amazon cart is just littered with decks. It's insane. Everybody's saying hello to Chris and Candy, which is lovely. I'm even pickier about Oracle, says Sarah. I have to work with at least 2 or 3 decks and resonate by itself. I must be way behind because the chat is jumping now. I have a crap ton of Oracle decks. I'm so behind, I haven't set anything up for the new year. It's all right, it's not New Year yet. Has anybody chosen a word for the new year? I'm not even doing that this year because I forgot what my word is. If I dig out my journal, I'll find it. But if I'm honest, how many times through this year have I thought, oh, I must think of my word? So I have that great intention, but life gets in the way. I've used a whole dated virtual planner about 10 times and I switched to undated, but the kids version is perfect for daily draws. Oh, okay. Not sure why people are putting aeroplanes in, but Crimbo Limbo. Is that the time between Christmas and New Year, Moran? Crimbo Limbo. Hello, Gerald. Nice to see you. Howdy all. I love that you've got your own emoji. That's perfect. I had no idea it was Saturday until I saw you was live. That's what we started off by saying in the live tonight. I almost wasn't here. I never know what day it is. I just know where I have to go and when, and I show up. Calla, hello, Calla. How are you? Nice to see you. I love my Oracle decks. I pull one a day. It sets the message besides pulling a tarot card. Maybe I should start pulling an Oracle every day. I have brought a Witch's Diary to journal my readings this year. Yeah. Is that the... well, I was going to say the black and white Witches one, but it's black, white and red now. I had it this afternoon. Where have I put it? I looked earlier, didn't I? It's up there on the shelf. I expect everything to be around me, and when it's not, I'm like, where's that gone? Simon, I love the background music used during your walkthroughs. May I suggest you make a short video about your music collection? Nutmeg, I get asked this a lot. It's not titled songs. It's just sound files that come with iMovies. So I use, because I'm an Apple user, I use iMovies to edit my videos, and you can drop sound files in, and they'll just say something like ocean or walking the dog, and it's just a piece of music. So when people say, they often leave comments on the video saying, what song is this, or what piece of music is this? It's just, there's so many built-in sound files on iMovies, and I just use them. YouTube sucked you in, Simon, and you've been hooked ever since. Yeah, it's true. Tarot decks are like friends as well, even if you sometimes argue. That's a good point. Good point. Simon, can you remember what deck it was that led you to discovering YouTube? Yeah, it was the Rumi Oracle. Because I only ever had one tarot deck back then, which was the RWS, the one you love, the blotchy one. And I was in Waterstones. It was August of 2016. Yeah, and I saw it, and there wasn't enough images, so that was what it was, Chris. For me, it was the Canon Reed Witches Tarot. Oh, wow. Which is quite an old one, really, isn't it? How did you come by it? I keep buying decks thinking this one would be my soul deck, and on it goes. It doesn't stop even when you find your soul deck. Or maybe it would for you, but it certainly didn't for me. YouTube is a big help in deciding whether the tarot deck is up your street, so to speak. Yeah, exactly. Larch Tarot says, I bought myself a deck for Christmas, and the guidebook says no reproducing the images without permission. I wanted to review it, but now I can't. I feel like I bought a deck and I don't own it. I think you can do it on, you'd have to look at FTC guidelines, but they will all say that. You can do video walkthroughs. I think it means reproducing it, as in making a copy of it, so that there's another copy of it out there. That's my understanding. So you can't, I can't take pip speak, because, and I mean, it's absolutely fine to do video walkthroughs because creators themselves leave comments. I've had a lovely comment from Zara about this deck and my review of it, but I'm not taking this deck and then scanning them all in and having reproduced it, because that's what piracy is. So in terms of making videos, software update, cancel, sorry. Golden's put, I think you can. Reproducing will be photocopying. Does that mean you can't YouTube it, Large? I would have thought it just prevents you from copying the deck. Yeah. So everybody's saying the same. Moran says, yeah, I think it's just not photocopying or scanning for reselling purposes, like DVDs back in the days. Yeah. I really get annoyed when someone just trashes a deck. It's like, why did you even buy this and make this video? Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. What I do understand is if somebody buys a deck because they've been misinformed and it's not what they expected. I think we've all been there. I think probably I can count on one hand the number of times I've actually made a video and said, yeah, I'm really disappointed in this. But I'll be honest and state my reasons why. I think the last one was that terrible RWS deck that they brought out now in favor of the blue box. And it's paper thin and its copy is dreadful. But there's nothing, there's nothing on the box to tell you that. It's a mass market one that you can get over the counter. Over the counter. Something for the weekend, sir. It says not without written permission, including social media. If it says including social media, then yeah, write to them, ask. It's like when I wanted to read the Lunar Moon Hair series by the artist and author Wendy Andrew. I wrote to her and said, look, I really love your book. I've had it for a couple of years now. I'd love to read a chapter of it on each of the Sabbats. And she came back and said, yeah, you have my permission. You've got full permission. Thank you for reaching out and asking. And I look forward to watching them. So, you know, topic I'd like to hear opinions on is use of AI making decks. So I have covered that, Robin. I've got quite, and I know it really divides the community, but I have to stick with just my own gut feeling, and that is I don't want to live in a world where AI generates tarot decks, because that could be where we're headed. If you're a publishing company and you no longer have to pay artists and you can just use an AI application to create a deck following a particular genre, and cut out the middleman, then that could be what people do. So I personally, where have I just put that one? Can't be somebody who spent time drawing, painting beautiful artwork rather than just putting a few keywords in and getting a machine to do it. They're just, you know, this is why I buy tarot decks. I buy tarot decks because I love the artist interpretation of those 78 archetypes. Chris and I was talking a couple of weeks ago and was saying, you know, and I think somebody had made a comment that a hermit is a hermit no matter how it's being portrayed. And he said, well, in that case, you know, all you need is 78 cards with the word hermit, strength. You know, you don't, if a hermit is just a hermit and the meaning never changes, then you just need the word. And that was a fair point. You know, the tarot deck where someone has depicted the hermit in a particular way, yes, we know what the hermit signifies in a reading, but you look at what else is going on in that image. If you're doing a spread, what's come before, what's come after, and it's not just about words, it's a visual thing as well. Tarot is a very visual thing. So I love to see what an artist comes up with. And when I did a walkthrough yesterday of the Pastoral Tarot, I mean, I've already said what a stunningly beautiful deck. I don't think an AI application yet can create that sort of level of art with the intricate details. But I love going to the book and reading, because every card has got, in this scene you will see, and they're describing what the artist has created. So for me, it's a no to AI decks. I've got two. One that was sent by somebody I review for, and I haven't asked for it. And I contacted them and said, this is an AI deck, isn't it? I don't feel comfortable reviewing it. And they was absolutely fine. And they said, well, just keep it. Don't worry. Don't send it back or anything. Just keep it. Don't do a review. And another one that was sent by somebody else who sends decks and uses AI as well as their own artwork. So a mixture of both. And I didn't show that either. And then there's that one I did, like, is this really an AI deck, where the creators are saying, no, it's not. But others are like, yes, it is. So, but yeah, it's just not the way I want tarot to go, really. And I'm hoping the bubble bursts on it, really. And I hope that true art prevails. The first deck I got was Ethereal Visions, not the nicest or most expensive one I have, but still my favorite. Ethereal Visions is beautiful. I see. Thank you for explaining, Simon. I'm not sure what you asked me now, but oh, the background music. I just scrolled back. I saw the background music. Pricey. Oh no, piracy. Everyone say ah. I have got my words from the front of my planner. I use one of the design it yourself planners, so easy to customize. That's good. Over the counter tarot. Oh, of course, I'm catching up then. Or has it just jumped that much? Over the counter tarot. The things I come out with sometimes, I tell you. A dispensary for tarot decks. Would the pharmacist be the Hierophant or the High Priestess? Over the counter tarot. We should create it, shouldn't we? The over the counter tarot. What would qualify as under the counter? AI is such a Pandora's box relating to every topic. Yep. AI is a scary concept. Even though the box was actually a jar. What was that for, Vanessa? What? The Ethereal Visions. Oh, good question. What did Forever Wear After ask? Have I missed a question? The human touch matters. Yeah, it really does. After years, I finally decided to buy the Mary L Tarot of 2024, says Karina. Wow, you'll have to let us know how you get on. I've got all 4 versions of the Mary L. And it was a deck I almost let go of way back when. I was too overwhelmed by it. I couldn't get my head around it initially, although I thought the artwork was beautiful. But yeah, AI takes the artist out of art. We've got this really dark deck that just came out. Go around to the back if you want it. Moran says, that's very true, Vanessa. It's a Pandora box for every topic. I have friends at work that may lose their job as translators because AI can do it quicker and almost as good as a human being. Yeah, there was what? It was something I was reading. It must have been online, but they were saying that there's certain roles that are likely to disappear within 10 years because of AI. And one of them was like accountants. Within companies, you know, bosses get rid of their accountants because AI can do it all. Human resources departments, all these kind of professions that could just disappear in 10 years because of AI. But we're seeing it, aren't we? We're seeing it in like supermarkets. Hardly get cashiers on at all now. And what used to be 4 little scan areas is now something like 16. It's taken over where all the cashiers used to be. I don't know. We will regret it one day, I'm sure. But anyway, Karina, enjoy Mary L. And there's the people using chat got to write papers for their college degrees. Yeah, they're going to. There's a way around that, I think, also in the same article that I was reading. And it's similar to like using software to detect plagiarism. So if you're doing if you copy somebody's work, it gets entered into a filter. And I think they'll be able to detect whether it's been generated by AI. It seems like AI needs to crunch pre-existing artwork to regurgitate it, and none of the existing artwork that's dismantled or the artist gets credit or residuals. Yeah. Vanessa said, I wanted to be an illustrator when I was little, and digital photography killed that dream. And here comes AI. My inner artist is crying out. But, you know, looking at something like Pastoral Tarot, Lisa Hunt's artwork, if you just look at it and look at those cards and see how beautiful that is, and you've got 78 pieces of stunning art, and then you look at an AI generated deck, which they all, and I know, you know, this is why I didn't think that other deck that I had, the Victorian tarot, seemed like it, but they all have that otherworldly, I don't know, it seems to be regurgitating the same style of art, and I just find it really boring. I don't find anything remotely interesting about it, where somebody sat down with a paintbrush and done a beautiful watercolor or beautiful oil painting wins hands down for me. How can you tell if it's an AI deck? Well, it's becoming more and more difficult, because that one that I mentioned, I really didn't think it was an AI deck, and the person who I saw show that deck first also didn't think it was an AI deck. It was other people that pointed out that it could be. Simon, I meant Pandora's box was actually Pandora's jar in the original story. I never knew that. I was always brought up to believe it was Pandora's box. I even did a video in 2017 on the channel called Lifting the Lid on Pandora's box. And it was a jar. There you go. You learn something new every day. Gosh, it's nearly, didn't realise the time. We've been talking for like nearly an hour and a half. No, the over-the-counter tarot dispenser. The artwork in AI decks is usually very clean and has a sterile feel to it. Also, sizes of objects are sometimes distorted as well as other things. I'm sure they'd have a way to detect AI and plagiarized work, yeah. The software in the UK at university is called Turn It In. I do not think the software will be able to detect no. So the Turn It In is the detecting plagiarism. So it looks at where the original source came from. So if you've copied somebody's work, and I remember this because I used to be a staff development manager, and I was responsible for CPD. So all staff qualifications and training came through me, and I would work with awarding bodies, and I would get notifications saying one of the staff in your organization has submitted this essay or this, you know, this piece, and it's not past the plagiarism filter, and it would cite the source of the original piece. So then you'd have to go back to them and take whatever action you took. But usually on the first time, it was, you need to write it again. It needs to be your own work. You can't substitute something generated from something created from an artist's imagination. Yeah. Okay, let's pull a card. Being as this one's out, we'll pull from Playful Heart Tarot by Zara at Kitchen Chops. So we'll have a card pull. Professor at our work says she spots AI essays because it reads like a high school student wrote it, nothing original. But also, you probably know someone's style of writing, and then suddenly, if you're getting an essay that is written to such a high professional standard with no errors or yeah, I think any good kind of teacher would be able to spot if something's been done by AI as well. This deck looks lovely too. It is Sandra, and the quality, it's by Nearly said dead on paper then. Expert playing card company who do they do Pagan of the World, so it's really, really nice. I still have to go grab lunch. Yeah, bye Sarah, Happy New Year. Okay. Focus on something for the week. Actually, this is the last card pull of the year as well. What do we need to focus on as this year draws to an end? Ooh, gosh. Picked up about 3 then, but I'm going to go with the one on the top. Very apt, really. We have the 8 of Cups, which always signifies, doesn't it, going in a new direction. So it is quite apt, although a part of me, because like I was saying the other night, and it's funny because a lot of the cards I've been pulling recently seem to be about endings and new beginnings and all that sort of stuff. And when I was on with Chris on Thursday, I pulled a card from Oracle Day Reflects, and it was around transition. And what I was saying was that, you don't have to wait for a new year if you want to do something new, although the new year just kind of concentrate our minds more to, there's something new because it's a new year. There's like almost an expectation. But rather than being forced because it's a new year into making a resolution or making a determination, whether it's low buy, no buy, whatever it is, we need to consider, is it something that we need and want to do? Not just because everybody else is doing it because it's the time of the year. And if we do need to go in a new direction, we need to consider, I would say, 3 things really. Where is it that we want to go? Why do we want to go there? And then thirdly, and quite most importantly, is how, because it's going to take planning. So with the 8 of Cups, really, it's about leaving something behind that no longer serves us, that's no longer conducive to our lives. We're going in that new direction through either a need or a desire because we want to change something and we want to go in that new direction, learn new things, take on new skills, travel more, whatever it is. But then we need to consider, where are we going? Where are we actually headed? Why are we going there? Why is it important to us? And then the planning comes. How am I going to do it? So it's advising against rushing headlong, really. It's about planning things out and considering the direction that we're going in. So yeah, just because it's New Year doesn't mean you have to do it. And lots of people have commented tonight saying, I don't feel, these are just the extra ones that I've left out because I've been working with this. I don't make New Year's resolutions because I don't stick to them. I'm the same. I don't do them because I will do that at any point in the year when I feel I need to make a change in my life. And I think you're going to be more successful then because there's that inner drive, there's that determination, rather than people saying to you, what's your New Year's resolutions? What are you going to do next year? It's like, time doesn't exist. Tomorrow's the last day of the year, but we decided that. We created days, months, years, hours, minutes, seconds. Time is a man-made construct. Tomorrow's not the last day of the year. We're just constantly always going around the sun. We just decided tomorrow's the last day of the year. So actually, listen to what your own desire is. And if there's something that's not quite right, something you need to let go of and leave behind because it's holding you back, or it's not serving you anymore, it's not enriching your life, then that's when we decide now is the time to go forward. All right, so yeah, everybody's saying Happy New Year. So have a wonderful end of your year. I hope 2024 brings you everything that you want it to be, or I hope, sorry, 2024 is everything you hope it will be, and that, you know, mainly you're happy and healthy. Thanks for watching, everybody. Not sure when our next will be on, but it will be over the next few days with a video, I'm sure. So yeah, have a wonderful new year, everyone, and thank you for being here. And until next time, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.